Hey folks, how we doing? I want to talk about source energy, what it is and what it isn't. This is a bit of a gross overview, but it's not a topic that really needs too much attention. Source energy is, from the very beginning, the first energy. That there's original source energy and then there's the new source energy. In the very beginning, there's like nothingness in the first dimension inside it. And in the first dimension, 4 huge energy fields came together, and a little bit of electricity came in there, along with some there was some physical matter in there and some type of chemical reaction or something, and next thing you know, you have energy that becomes sentient, which is the birth of spirit. It was the first being. It just so happened that it was 27.5% negative. You know, why? You know, whatever. It was. Why does a leaf grow in a certain shape? Why does a cloud move a certain way? You know, hey, it's a cloud. It's nice when it gives you cover when you need it. It's a pain in the butt when it rains on you. It just is. So that was the first being, and then after a while, it got tired of being alone, and as it became evolved and became more sentient and stronger, it just literally split itself into 2 different parts, and that was the beginning of male and female. That's original source energy, 27.5% negative, made male and female, and also, after a while, it made this second dimension, and then it made the third dimension, which is the one we live in. The second dimension is all energy. But anyway, and then it did other things. However, everything that is spirit came from it. The physical matter of planets and stuff, moons and all that, that came from the first dimension. So we have original source energy, 27.5% negative, that made itself 2 different things so it would have company, which is male and female. And then it went into itself, it put its energies together, went into itself, and pulled out about 1/3 of its energy. And then it reached in and took 97% of that negativity out. Okay? Now, out of that negativity came a few different things, but one thing that was in there, 4/5 of that clean energy, of that clean spirit, which is like 97% of, you take 97% away from 27.5. I think it's like 0.85% negativity, something like that. Oh, whatever. I just say under 2%. That's clean stuff. Okay, now that's the only source energy that's left. The original stuff is gone now. It's been destroyed because of what's happened. It brought everything out, but had problems because of the amount of negativity, and it just kept fighting until it was gone. Anyway, so the source energy that's left now is very clean. Now there is the negativity that it pulled out of itself, that 97% of its energy that's negative, it pulled some of that out. There is some of that left, negative source energy, and it's not been allowed to have lives. It's strong stuff. But what's left is, I hate to say it, it's just really not an issue. It stays by itself. It's not aggressive. The bit of it that's been allowed to stay is not aggressive. It's just negative. It doesn't want to be around happy stuff, and that's fine. It can't help what it was. And like I said, there's not much of it. So, especially not much of it left. So now the new source energy is clean. The original source energy wanted to be served. It was abusing creation and everything else so it could be served. The new source energy wants to serve everything else. Is it a servant? No. Does it serve because it wants to? Yes. Now, what's inside source energy? Well, there's basic fields of essence, which is that other 1/5 of that clean energy, that clean original source energy. That's under 2%. And there's the first 5 basic fields were human essence, fey essence, animal essence, plant essence, and then there was like universal essence. That's planets of female energy and the stars of male energy. It's broken down a little finer since then. And of course there's also been angels. And that's all what came out of that. Now, source energy that's here now is very old, very powerful, much more powerful than the original was, because from having had all these lives, at least the part that comes from Aramelius and Lily. Anyway, talk about that later. There was 2 sets of mother and father. One set really never had a life, and the other set was having life after life after life in the very beginning. That's Lily and her counterpart. And so anyway, this energy is what's in charge right now. However, the part of the male energy on the other side is trying to learn a little bit about having lives. The only thing that ran lives until recently was the original mother and father, and they were abusive. So they're trying to bake a cake, and the only recipe they have is faulty. There's not much of that left over there anymore. Things are really settling down more and more, getting better and better, which is allowing me to get stronger to do my work here. It's not like AJ, I got a job to do and I gotta go. But the thing is, things are getting better. Source energy is literally every frequency of energy that's everywhere is literally part of source energy. This source energy that's here just has very little negativity. It's no better than nothing else. It's not. It's no better than dirt. We're all family. We're not all one, okay? We need to get rid of that concept. Well, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying that's bull, okay? We are not all one. We all came from the first initial being, but we're all individuals now having lives. We are all members of one family. That's true, but we are not all one. And this thing about I don't like to go out of the way to pick out people and stuff like that, but this lawless act of attractions, you know, the supposed law of attraction stuff, and Esther Hicks, she says she's source energy. She's not. She used to be, when she was created, she came from the second wave of souls, and she was about 7/10 of the way through that she started having lives. She was she actually came out like 2.4, second wave, 4/10 of the way through. And she was 27% negative, which is kind of like even for the first being that released the energy, which was 27.5%. And since then, she's cleaned herself up to 17% negativity. Now, let me say something about negativity. In a soul is a smaller piece of that same original energy. When the original first being released each of the 5 waves of souls with a lot of time in between, it just released whatever came out, came out. So that's why you have negativity. If I've said this a lot before, and I'm trying to be quick about it. I apologize if you already heard it, but it's like if you get a gallon of water and 27.5% of it is actually vinegar. You shake it up real good, you put it in a water gun, you spray it and shoot it. Whatever comes out, comes out. It's usually mostly water, but some of it might be mostly vinegar. That's how you got negativity and this other stuff. That's how some things come out light. But it's just smaller pieces of it, of the original first being. That's the difference between souls and essence. Neither one is better than the other. The thing about negativity with the souls, I don't know why it goes in 7s, okay? It just does. I know that it does. I know that's the way it breaks down. When someone is when a soul is 7% negative, they're very high vibration. It's like very similar to selenite and danbarite, very high vibration, but it's also almost a little fragile. Very clean, beautiful, but very fragile. When I meet someone like that, I literally take some of my energy and send it with it until its life is done. to try to help protect it. When a soul is 17% negativity, that's strong and it's clean. Okay, don't think 17%. Oh, I'm not negative. That's not. You have to have negativity, so, you know, to be part of you. It's just what it is. It's lower vibration. When a mother is at the park and someone's looking at her little baby the wrong way, she's going to crank up her negativity. You will literally see a black cloud form around her. It'll be thin. It won't be like molasses. It'll be thin, but it'll be black. That's her anger. She's getting ready to do something. She's getting ready to protect. Okay, that happens. I see it all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. When you get to be 27% negative, you can start having issues. I've seen 27%, that's really nice, and I've seen 27%, that's not. So please don't get hung up later in percentages. And I have friends that are 47% negative and they've cleaned up to 27. They have to do this out of body, by the way. It doesn't happen in body. There's a very, very, very rare situation in which that might possibly happen, but it's not from the person's wanting it to. Anyway, enough about that. So anyway, source is very strong. It's very powerful. The source that's here is very clean now, and it's serving. It's working. It's doing what it can to learn and take care of things. This is a new beginning for everything on the other side, the second dimension, as well as it is here. So it's a new concept. Everyone's getting used to it. So anyway, that source, okay, it's really strong, really powerful, and it really cares. Okay, it's strong. It comes from focal point of heart, the energy. That's that part of the source energy that's here now. It comes from focal point of heart energy, the original of the clean Lilith and Aramelius. And the heart of Lilith is Lily, and then the heart of Aramelius is a huge energy field, and that's what was put in this body a long time ago. And it's no better than anything else, but it has a big job, and that's what this awakening stuff is about. That's why when I go into you to crank you up, I literally, it's a natural thing. Other people can do stuff to maybe excite you or something, to it's like a shock therapy to like, hello, wake up. That's it. Or changing your DNA. DNA is always changing, moving a little bit, but just small amounts. But everyone's DNA is being changed now and being cranked up. It's time for things to happen, and things have happened on the other side. When you finish this life and you go home, you're going to notice things are much better. So as the days go by and you awaken more and more, please try not to get hung up on whether something is source, soul, essence, or whatever, because other than knowing what you are, you're all awesome. I mean, nothing's any better than anything else. We are family, and it's time for us to be more family, and it's time for the negative things, not just on this planet, but everywhere, to leave. The age of freedom is coming. I don't like to use these words, but in a way it's the age of retribution, because the abusers are going to start becoming the abused. And a lot of them are going to get out of this body, go home, and they're going to find themselves no longer existing. It's time for change, and it's going to happen everywhere. So anyway, love you all, and just remember, if you would please, we're family. And y'all are awesome, and you have incredible abilities, and you're going to keep getting stronger. Take care.